Okay, we're on test number 10, SAT test 10, section 3, no calculator. Problem number 1, 2z plus 1 is equal to z. It says, which of the following, what value of z satisfies the equation above? So, subtract z on both sides, minus z. 2z minus z is going to leave you z, plus 1. And over here on the right hand side, you're going to have 0. So subtract 1 on both sides, and it looks like the value of z should be a -1. So the answer here should be B for problem number 1. Okay, problem number 2. A television with a price of $300 is to be purchased with an initial payment of $60 and weekly payments of $30. Which of the following equations can be used to find the number of weekly payments W? And we know that it's $30 a week, so 30 times W, and required to complete the purchase, assuming that there is no taxes or fees. Okay, so initially there's $60 for the initial payment, so it's $60 plus the 30W, $30 weekly, and that looks like answer C for number 2. 300 would be 30W plus 60. Okay, problem number 3, we have a table with shipping charges and according to the weight, and the shipping charge depends on the weight. The table above shows the charges for an online retailer that sells sporting goods. There is a linear relationship, so we're thinking of y is equal to mx plus b, where we have a slope and a y-intercept, and the answers are in that form. Which function can be used to determine the total shipping charge f of x in dollars for an order with a merchandise weight of x pounds? So if we look at the answer choices, we've got a slope here of 0.99, 0.99, and we also have two other slopes of 339 and 3.39. So is it the 0.99 or 3.39? Now, these numbers here will require use of approximations, so that would make it a whole lot easier. We need to find the slope. So $16.94, I'm going to call that 17. I'm going to round that off to 17. And $21.89, I'm going to round that off to 22. Okay? And so if I'm going to find the slope is going to be the change in these two charges, 22, which is difference in the y's, over difference in the x's. 10 minus 5 is 5. So 22 minus 17 is 5, and 10 minus 5 is 5. So the slope is approximately 1. So what that tells me is that it can't be this 339. So it's either A or B. So it's going to be either this one or this one. And the difference between A and B is that one has a slope-intercept of 0 and the other one is around 12. So if we take a look at the first line here, where when x is 5, y is 17, it can't be this first one, but it could be the second one. If this is 1, 1 plus 1 times 0.99 is going to be 1, right? So you're going to have 1 plus 12. We're going to have 13. So in this problem, it looks like the answer should be, if x is 5, you're going to have 5 times 1 plus 11.99, we said that's 12. That's going to give you 17, which is what we had up here. So it should be answer B. It should be pretty obvious that the y-intercept is some number other than 0. So you would just pick B at this point. Okay, problem number 4. The line in the xy plane above represents the relationship between the height, h of x in feet, and the base diameter, x in feet, for a cylindrical Doric columns in ancient Greek architecture. how much greater is the height of a Doric column that has a base diameter of 5 feet than the height of a Doric column that has a base diameter of 2 feet. So if you look at this, it looks like the slope is 7, but they're not asking for slope. At 2 feet, right here, we would have, at 2 feet, you would have 14. And at 5 feet, right here, we go all the way up to this line, we would have 35. And so from 35 to 14, if we subtract 35 minus 14, it looks like the answer is 21. And so for this one, the answer is C, 21. Problem number 5, the square root of 9x squared, if x is a positive value, which of the following is equivalent to the given expression? All we have to do is simplify this, and we can take the square root of 9 and the square root of x squared, and you would have the square root of 9 is 3, and the square root of x squared is x, absolute value of x. In this case, since x is positive, the answer is just 3x, which would make it answer A. A would be the answer for number 5. Okay, problem number 6, we have x squared minus 1 over x minus 1 is equal to negative 2. And what are the values of x that satisfy the equation above? Well, first of all, if you notice this numerator here, x squared minus 1, that's difference of squares, and this can be factored out as x minus 1 times x plus 1. And that's divided by x minus 1, and that has to equal to a negative 2. And so what we're going to do is we're going to cancel the x minus 1's, and that's going to leave us x plus 1 is equal to a negative 2. And if you subtract 1 on both sides, you now have that x is equal to negative 3. So in this problem, x equals negative 3, so the answer is A. Make sure you know how to factor difference of squares. A squared minus b squared. Very common on the SAT, that's a minus b times a plus b. And that's it for problem number 6. The graph above of y equals f of x is shown in the xy plane. What is the value of f of 0? F of 0 is asking when x is 0, what is the value of y? Which is the same thing as asking for what is the y-intercept in this problem. You can just go up to the graph here and say, well, when x is 0, we're right here. What's the value of y? When x is 0, y is 4. So when x is 0, y is 4, then the answer here should be D. Okay, problem number 8, we have a geometry problem. In the figure above, point B lies on segment AD right here. And we know that this is 90 degrees right here, so that means that this angle here is also 90. What is the value of 3x? So first of all, we need to find the value of x, and we know that these three angles here will add up to 90 degrees. So we're going to have 2x plus another 2x plus x is equal to 90. And so then we're going to have 2 and 2 is 4 and 1 more is 5. So 5x is equal to 90. And if you divide by 5, 90 divided by 5 is 18. And if you're looking at the answers, some students might pick this one, 18. But remember, they're asking for the value of 3x. 3x. So 3 times 18 is 54. So 3x is actually 54 in this case. So the answer was C, problem number 8. Okay, problem number 9. You have a line here, and they want the equation of the line in the xy plane. So now we could find the slope and the y-intercept, rewrite it, but these are in standard form. They're not in slope-intercept form. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at this point here, which is the x-intercept. When x is negative 4, y is 0. And if we take a look at this point here, that's the y-intercept. When x is 0, y is negative 4. We know we have a negative slope, and this one right here would be a positive slope. That's a positive slope. So it's either C or D. Now the sum of x and y has to be negative 4. So if you look at these two, 0 plus negative 4, that checks out, and negative 4 plus 0, that checks out. That fits this equation right here by plugging in negative 4, 0, or 0, negative 4. And so the answer for this one is C. That's going to be the easiest way and the quickest way to do this problem. If you like problems like these, where there's a shortcut, there's a little strategy, some tips and tricks for these, go ahead and hit the like button for this video, and I would very much appreciate it. Okay, we're at problem number 10. The graph of y equals 2x squared plus 10x plus 12 is shown. And so you have a parabola there. If the graph crosses the y-axis at the point 0, k, which is right here, that's the y-intercept, what is the value of k? What is the y-intercept? Well, when x is 0, what is the y-intercept? What is y? Okay, well, if you plug in a 0 here and a 0 here, this is 0, that's 0, k would be 12. And so your y-intercept is 12. So in this case, the answer is D, 12. And that's problem number 10. And we're doing 1 through 10 in this video. So in the next video, we'll continue with 11 through 12.